started picking up at 6 a.m. I call my mother. She lives in Orlando. I tell her, I think the eye's gotta be somewhere around where we at right now. And she's like, the eye's not even close to the island yet. I'm like, wow, this is gonna be bad. So that's no. 5 a.m. 7 a.m. I'm like, wow, this is pretty bad. It was pretty bad. It was real bad. Like at 9 a.m. in the morning, we closed everything up, a couple of the windows that we had left open, and the wind was so bad and everything, the noises outside were so bad that my grandmother started crying in the middle of the hurricane. And she said, oh my God, I think I'm gonna die in this one. 10 a.m. communications were out, and the winds kept on blowing like up till 4 p.m. pretty rough. So it was like 8 hours intense of wind. All this experience, and I spoke to Dr. Andrea about this, is the feeling of guilt, just leaving the island and not knowing what you can do from out here. One of my aunts, as she called us crying, she was telling us like there's nobody. It was very hard for FEMA to get up there where they were. They didn't have access outside of the town or inside the town. A lot of the streets in the middle of the island they basically eroded and all that stuff. There were rocks in the middle of the streets and all that, so it was pretty bad. So it was very intense. I think there's people that lose material things in the hurricane. There's people that lose money, There's people that lose power, water. There's people that, but I think the emotional part, it's one of the worst parts of this natural disasters. There's people that lose faith. There's people that lose courage in the middle of it. I think I lost courage in the middle of the hurricane. I think it was pretty bad. I was like, wow, I don't know what to do right now. It's. Bad. Since we prepared for 5 days of food, like on Sunday, it was Wednesday that the hurricane came by. On Sunday, we didn't have food to eat. So we were out of food. Supermarkets didn't have supplies. Gas stations, waiting lines were like 6 hours. So we were like, oh God, we don't have anything to eat. So I think on Sunday we ate at one of my aunts. We spent the day there. We ate that day. We had 2 plantain plants in the back. We had like 30 plantains after that. So we ate plantains for 5 days straight. I mean, you can be a millionaire or you can be poor. It doesn't matter, because at that moment, ATMs were not working. Money, you couldn't get out money. So it was like what you had, it was what you had. So you had to deal with it.
I was visiting Life University in Atlanta after being away for some time from the campus. And so being away, it had changed so much. And I was put on a campus tour. And Andreas was my tour guide. And he was amazing. I'm somebody who remembers stories or energies or, names, not so much. I didn't remember his name. And I'll get to that in a second. But as he's giving me a tour, I'm inspired by him. I'm like, this kid's gonna like go places. I was just excited. He took me through all the new stuff, and it was really just, in essence, it was just a tour, right, Andreas? It was just a tour. But it was, I don't know, he inspired me. We became friends on social media, but that was really it. The hurricane hit. Kimberly touched a bit on what we were already doing with Harvey and with Irma, and then with Maria, when it hit, I thought, okay, Kimberly and I were like, who do we know on the island that we can serve, that we can help, that we can ask? Does anybody need anything? Kind of thing. And so we started making a list, and some other docs gathered with us, and we had this list, and in my head and heart, I remembered him, but I couldn't remember his name. And those days are long when you're looking for people. Kimberly and I have been really working on connecting with people and figuring out that question, what do you need? Those 3 words, how can I help? And sitting in a conference in Orlando, and I guess it was October, and it's 1,000 people in front of me, if you can picture, and I'm in the back row, and I see, you know, this figure of this man sitting in front of me, and I'm like, no way. I've been looking for you, and I know that sounds crazy, but I mean, even in those moments of exchange, I'm thinking you had to be like, wow, people have been looking for me, you know, and I mean, people care. We're thinking about you. Exchanged a resume. You said yes. I put it out there. A doctor said, I hear you have a resume. And we spent about 15 minutes on the phone, and I basically said I would hire him.
Suddenly, I received an email from a doctor, another email from a doctor. I found the best option for me, and where I'm going to be working at Fort Collins, Colorado, with Dr. Dan Wallace, an amp doc, which is going to be very exciting. I'm going to start January 2nd. So definitely, if you guys know people in Fort Collins, let them know that I'm going to be there. So definitely, it was super exciting. It was very exciting. But one of the things that the thing that got me the most that I still can remember was like when she asked me, what do you need? And my first thought was my grandfather. My grandfather's still in Puerto Rico, but he uses oxygen each day. He's very weak. The lungs are very weak. So I was very scared about that. Lines were 6 hours long, like I said, in the gas station. So the entire street, like 4 or 5 neighbors, they were taking turns in the gas stations just to get gas for my grandfather's generator so he could have oxygen all day. And she's like, I think we can find a plane and we can get him out. So I think that was like the thing that I'm most grateful for. Because like you said, we gotta take care of ours first. So we can take care of more people after that. So that, I think that was very important. And the associate position, I'm beyond grateful for that. But it was more like that feeling of there's somebody that knows that I'm in trouble right now, that I need something, and I didn't ask for it, which was the most important part of it. You know, you guys were there when I needed it, and it was a blessing because, like I said, I didn't know I was going to Orlando. I didn't know I was going to that conference, and I didn't know that I was going to see Dr. Andrea there. So it was like everything started getting the pieces added together. And it was just incredible, you know, and all of us are facing different trials and tribulations, and we got to be there for them. And at the beginning, I felt that feeling of guilt, which I still have it, of abandonment. But I think that being outside of the island for a while, I can definitely serve them a little bit better than how I could have being in the island with no communication, no nothing, you know. So it's a blessing to have you guys. I really appreciate it. And that's what I told Dr. Andrea. I told her a couple of days ago, I'm like, I'm going to send a small gift just to thank you for everything you went through without being asked to do it. And she said, you know what the best thing that you can do is help another person that needs help, you know? And I was like, absolutely, that's what I'm going to do, you know? I still send her the gift, but absolutely, that's what I did.
I was telling Kimberly when she said, you know, we need to mark this, and it will be part of my book someday, I think, Andreas. We'll be talking again. But like these moments in your life, it isn't something that like you really even have words or want to even share or talk about. But she got me to do this, kind of like I got you to bring us all three together for inspiration. Because you know, you go through these challenges, you go through these trials, or me even driving away from a hurricane. I left my 91-year-old grandma in South Florida in Naples because she was too frail to go. And what a weird place to be. You know, you think get them out, and then you're like, well, you're kind of, and we shared that, Andreas, you know,
Right.
You're kind of too fragile to move too. They don't need a lot, but their needs are essential. And disrupting their pattern, it can be just as dangerous as them staying in it. And I remember Kimberly kind of coaching me through that too, because that was really a dilemma. But you know, really understanding that there are people, and just opening yourself to that. I've got you. What do you need? You know, and I've been using those words through these challenges, and everything from my community to now we're doing a toy drive. You know, we're trying to get 6,000 toys for, you know, South Florida. Like, why not, right? I mean, like it just doesn't stop, you know, but it's a need. And the things that I've learned is I guess that has been solidified for me, because you were saying people lose their faith, or they lose their north, they don't know. But there is such an abundance in this world that has been proven to me, because to think that, like Kimberly said, there's a barge and there's all these pallets of food and all this language of rescue now that I learned, like all of this relief care and all this stuff that we have now, or we have, medical flights that are offered to us. We can help people get out and all this stuff. And it's there. I guess it's just your perception of how you're looking. But making sure that this story that we three share is coming from inspiration, because it's really hard to encapsulate or put in words. When you said you wanted to send me something, I was like, you don't need to send me anything. You went from thinking that your tomorrow to moving to the snow.
The snow.
So cool. To do this interview is really, I hope, just for people to, wow, know what's out there, know that you're not alone, know that there are resources, knowing that, gosh, Kimberly and I and other folks that are with us now, like, this isn't stopping.